What does this image look like to you? Well, to you and I, we can easily classify this as a bird. But what if we asked a computer to classify what this image was? How would it do it? Well, this problem can be solved with a concept called machine learning. And machine learning is just the idea that a machine or computer can learn from a set of data and then make a prediction from what it learned, without the help of a human. And the prediction the machine makes could be anything from customizing your YouTube feed or recognizing objects and images. But how do computers even learn to do that in the first place? And the answer lies in an algorithm developed by a French mathematician in 1847 called the gradient descent algorithm. So imagine yourself as the gradient descent algorithm and you're on top of a 2D mountain. Your goal is to reach the valley, but there's one problem. The day is foggy and you don't see a clear path down to the mountain. With no map, you wouldn't know if you're traveling up or down, and in big or small intervals. So to help you determine the direction you travel in, you can measure the steepness of the mountain at your current position, and then simply travel down the path that gives you the steepest descent. But how often do you measure the steepness? If you measure too often, it would take you too long, and if you measure too little, you might go past the valley and up the next mountain. But don't worry, the gradient descent algorithm lets you determine the frequency you want to measure the mountain's steepness, or in other words, just the intervals you want to go down the mountain by. And hooray! You've reached the valley of the mountain. But the real-world application of gradient descent is far more than just finding the bottom of a curve, like the valley. And so after your successful hike down to the valley, you've decided to create a company, and with it a product. And inspired by the method that brought you down to the valley, you've decided to improve your product by using the gradient descent algorithm. Your company plans to improve the product by receiving feedback by users, and continues to improve the product until the feedback from the users are minimized to the lowest possible number. And this idea of optimizing variables like the product to best fit a certain population of data, like your users' feedback, is the big idea of the gradient descent algorithm. Despite the age of this algorithm, it drives some of the most useful concepts in our modern world, like machine learning. If we think of the foundation of machine learning, like the layers of the earth, the core acts like the algorithms built to tie the mathematical concepts together, like the gradient descent algorithm. And the mantle represents the core mathematical concepts. And finally, the crust represents mathematical concepts that are not core to machine learning, but add complexity like the beautiful features on Earth's crust. Math is a very important field in our life, and it motivates many important concepts and theories, especially machine learning. So the next time you ask yourself, why am I learning this in your math class, you could add machine learning to your list.